is known as $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, where you can get the hottest handicappers' best bet or daily package for only $2.
Welcome on in to the NBA Tip-Off Show. Joe Raineri with the day off, so I'm filling in for him. You're stuck with me, Dan Alexander. But don't worry, just because I'm here doesn't mean that we don't have the experts with us who you're really here to hear. We got Ski Profit, we got Tony Finn, we got Rob Vino, and I know the Mavs fans are hoping we do not have any brooms this evening as the playoffs are rolling on here, potentially the end of the Mavs season. We'll be getting into that. We'll be breaking down what happened last night, of course, with the Celtics and Heat as well. Happy to be here with the guys. Let's welcome them in our $2 Tuesday handicapper. We got Ski Profit. And Ski, you got a 5%er loaded, one of the first of its kind. How you doing, my man?
I'm doing well. 5% play up and available for WNBA tonight, and it's been pretty good over there. I think so far to start the season, I'm like 29 and 19, somewhere like that. A little bit above 60%. So try to keep that going tonight and talk about some NBA winners with you guys.
There we go. That's what we're here to do. Again, you can grab that just $2 today. Tony Finn. Well, when Joe Raineri saw it was going to be the Tony Finn show on Tuesday, he said, Dan, you got to fill in for me, man. I'll see him on Thursday. I'll give him his lumps then. But happy to be here with you, Tony. How are you doing, man? And what do you have up for your clients?
It's a good day. Joe Raineri's not on the show. Are you kidding me? Let's go. Let's pick some winners.
Short, simple, sweet, to the point. Tony Finn, one of the rare times you get that out of Mr. Finn. Rob Vino, happy to have you back as well. I saw you on the show yesterday, back from your trip. You were sporting some nice, like beard action. You were pulling a little Dan Alexander style there. Oh. Now we're trimmed up. We're ready to go. How you doing, Rob?
I'm good, buddy. Yesterday was kind to me. That Celtics-Miami game produced a batch of winners, multiple first quarter, first half, a couple of props, Jason Tatum, Gabe Vincent, a bunch of winners yesterday. The show was good as well for winners. So we look forward to getting into this one. Maybe Dallas can get themselves a win and get on the board here tonight.
Yeah, and we'll circle back towards the end and get into that Celtics and Heat game as, the next game tipping off tomorrow. So let's get into some action for today before we circle on back. Golden State and Dallas, and a situation that Golden State's kind of become familiar in, a closeout game on the road, hoping that their fortune can change a little bit than what happened the last two series. We're looking at Dallas as the 1-point favorites. If you want to back them on the money line, protect that push, you got to pay the extra 5 cents to do that. And guys, if you haven't heard, everybody, the stat comes out now. If you never heard, no teams have ever come back down 3-0. We got our total 215. So get that out of the way. The big talking heads, that's all you've heard this far. Ski, I'm going to start with you. Kind of getting into what I was alluding to there. Similar 3-0 closeout spots against the Nuggets. The Golden State Warriors slipped up in that game. Then in the semis, they had the potential closeout game in Game 5 against Memphis. They get rolled in that game. So, Dallas is hoping for a little deja vu. Do you see that happening tonight?
Yeah, I could definitely see it happening tonight. You just looking at who's going to be more motivated. You hear Steph Curry talk after the game. It doesn't sound like, they're too, like, even if they lose this game, they know they're okay. They're going to go back to Golden State, where they've only lost 10 games all year, and take care of business. So either way, whether they win tonight or the next game, they're most likely to have rest before the next series. So I think, like Steph Curry said, you're playing with house money, free money for them, whereas, everything's on the line, your back's against the wall for the other side. So if I'm playing one side today, it will be the team who has everything to play for in Dallas Mavericks. And Other things I like, Klay Thompson, rebounds and assists. He's hit it 6 of the last 7 games, up and over to 7.5. And I got to go with the under here. You're just two really good defensive teams all year long. I preach. Mavs at home, you play the under. If you like points, in my opinion, you bet the first half over in Mavs games. Second half is where the unders or the overs go to die. And yeah, that's how I'm rocking in this game.
Well, Tony, the thing is you look at this matchup and you just figure, hey, have Luka Doncic out there balling and you're probably going to come out with a win. The problem is 2 straight 40-point performances, and that historically hasn't really been a great thing for the Mavs, not only in this series, but really lifetime. When Luka drops 40 or more in the playoffs, they're 2-6, man. So could a key potentially tonight be, let's get less Luka one-on-one? Seems kind of counterintuitive, Mr. Finn.
Yeah, I think I don't have any evidence or any numbers in front of me to prove such or provide evidence such. But I think anytime you have that kind of a one-man show, 40 points, 50 points, I've read it many, many times. And again, I don't have the evidence, but when one player scores that kind of number, it's typically not the rest of the team's not involved. So I don't think it's successful. I don't think it's a successful trend. Hey, Chamberlain scored 100. I think they won that game, but we'll go on to that. Listen. Dallas has been one of the better defensive teams. I keep hearing this elite stuff around Dallas, but for the most part, a lot of their numbers were a little skewed because of how they play, and they play at the slowest pace. They have the fewest possessions per game in the NBA this year, and defensively in this series, they haven't shown up. I mean. Golden State's plus 17.6 net non-garbage time minutes. Dallas, on the other hand, averaging 105.5 points per 100 possessions. And we could have even said, listen, this is in Dallas, and Dallas showed Phoenix, et cetera, et cetera. But what we saw in Game 3 didn't offer much. Everything that Golden State's doing right now is right. And that means in several ways where Jason Kidd made some adjustments, Dan, to Phoenix and Monty Williams. And I thought he outcoached Monty essentially in the last 4 games, that series, 5 games, 4 games, 5 games, whatever it was. I don't think that's the case with Kerr. And I don't think that you even brought it up. You brought up the Denver scenario where they're basically where Golden State's trying to close out this series in Denver at altitude, or at Memphis, same kind of situation. And then Ski said, well, they're going home. Probably right. If they don't win tonight, they're going to win in 5. At home. But I believe this team is going to be focused after those 2 they've had some pretty miserable performances in their first games in an attempt to close out those first games in the second round in the semis last series. So I can't play if I'm in this room, and I'm on Golden State.
Tony Finn sliding out of his shots like Warriors fans, hoping that the Mavs are sliding out of the playoffs there, Tony. You're giving the old bob and weave there. Rob Vino, I mean, the thing is you look at what Luka does and the points that he's able to put up, and that counterintuitive nature of how it's not really working for the Mavs. The only problem is outside of Doncic and Jalen Brunson, the rest of the starting 5 for Dallas, 4 of 18 from the field, 2 of 12 from deep. So, sometimes maybe it's as simple as some of these other guys stepping up and making shots. How do they kind of flip that tonight, Rob?
Yeah, well, that's where I look at this game, Dan. And yeah, I mean, Luka's got, I don't know how many triple doubles already in his young career. It's not like he doesn't want to pass the ball. It's not like he's not passing the ball. But, when you sit around and pass the ball for 2.5 quarters and you see 5 guys around you that can't make a shot, you decide I'm not passing anymore and I'll go get 40. It's just the way it is for Luka. So, Dallas has followed a pretty good trend throughout these playoffs, guys. I had to go back to the Utah series and start there, but this is last game they played was the 6th time in 16 playoff games that they've shot 33% or less from the 3-point arc. And the first 5 times tonight will be the 6th bounce back sort of game. But the first 5 times that they shot 33% or less, the very next game, they've come back and scored an average of 112 points per, 111.6 if you want to be exact. We won't round off, 111.6. And they've shot 44.6% from three in those bounce back games. They just haven't really put two bad ones together. So when they shoot horrendously, 2 times against Utah, 2 times against Phoenix, once here against Golden State in game one already, where they shot 22% in game one, bounced back and shot 47 in game two and scored 117 points, I think it was. I'd expect them to come back and shoot from beyond the arc well here. Most of their failure, as far as points scored in the 2 games where they didn't shoot well, is simply that. I don't know that. I would say that the majority, being better than 50% of the threes that they've shot, have been pretty clean looks and just flat out misses, especially first quarter misses. So I think Dallas can get theirs here tonight, guys. Golden State has shown us that they're going to get theirs. You know what? From 3-point range, they've only had one real good game as well. They shot 50% in game 2, but the other 2 games around 34%, which is, I don't even know if that's league average. Probably close to league average, but probably a little bit below. So they could explode here tonight. In this series, they're averaging 115.7 points per game. How's Dallas going to slow them down? They're getting absolutely drilled in the paint, right? Golden State right now, 152 points in the paint in this series, as opposed to 96 for Dallas. That's a plus 56. Ski, I told you we would talk a little bit about Kevon Looney on this show today. And I mean, he's been an absolute force. I can no longer take both middle fingers and just flip them up at a Kevon Looney prop because tonight I think his PRA is 20.5, and you don't even have to go assist with this guy, although he's had a couple. I mean, one game he had 19, the other 2 he went well over that. They have and Dallas is a little team. So if Golden State's going to score guys from 2-point range, and they're shooting 62% from 2-point range in this series, if they're going to shoot well from 2-point range, you can't stop that. Then you're not going to stop them from scoring. End of story. Tonight they might be without Otto Porter Jr., which means somebody else will have to get involved rebound-wise. Maybe that means Andrew Wiggins gets a few more rebounds. Maybe that means Looney gets even more rebounds. We'll see. But I don't see Golden State getting stopped here, Dan, as far as scoring is concerned. I think Dallas has a bounce-back game points-wise. All of that really adds up to me in some way, shape, or form as getting over the number. Ski talked about first half in Dallas games. If you take those 5 bounce back games so far in the playoffs, Dallas has gone over first half 4 times. All 4 times they got better than 110. So that's a pretty good indicator that maybe you get a high scoring first half. And before I pass it off here, let me just talk about the referees, the officials in this game. Zach Zarba gets the lead. David Guthrie, it'll be the first time he hasn't been a lead official in these playoffs. He'll be the second guy in, and then Sean Wright steps in to be the third. The only reason I mention this, Golden State in the playoffs with Zach Zarba and David Guthrie officiating, they're 4-0 over the total, and the totals that they've put up are incredible. 229, 247, 254, and 231, all well above what we're asked to go tonight with 215.5. Golden State's really been excellent for the series, 53.1 field goal percentage. So I tend to think over in some way, shape, or form, whether you bet it first half, first quarter, whether you think you want to bet Dallas team total over. I think there's going to be points scored in this game.
Now, guys, I mean, you're capping the NBA every single day. I don't know if there's any league where it's more important of knowing what the officiating crew is than in the NBA. And in the NBA playoffs specifically, I mean, there was another trend that was just cashing if you were playing Boston Celtics teams when Scott Foster is on the call. He was on the call last night. It was something you guys talked about the show yesterday. So I think, an astute point bringing up, know the officiating crews and how those kind of, trend into maybe a total, maybe a side as well. Now, Ski, something that Rob mentioned there that I want to get your thoughts on, because you're also a player-driven handicapper with the props that you were laying out there as well. From what I saw, it looks like Otto Porter Jr. will be out of this game. Now, I don't know how much, it directly impacts this game specifically, but, maybe just moving forward, kind of like a macro view on what this means and what Porter Jr. brings to the floor for the Warriors. Does that move the needle for you either way, knowing that he would not be in the game, Ski?
Does it move the needle for this game? No. If he was to be out long term, yeah, I think he's a big deal because, Warriors play a certain group of guys. He's one of those guys that can throw out there with the death lineup and, they still play okay. So I think he's important to the Warriors team. And we'll see. I'll look into his injury. I don't think he'll be out that long, but as long as they have him in the near future, they'll be all right.
And another thing, guys, popping off there in the chat is our poll question of the day. You see in the bottom left-hand corner there, who's going to have more points, Luka Doncic, Steph Curry? It's the battle of the superstars. Ski was talking about an over that he likes maybe for the Warriors on a player prop perspective. But Tony Finn, you look at the two superstars, it's kind of been the thorn in the side if Luka does go off. But if you had to put your money either way, Steph Curry, Luka, who's dropping more in the bucket tonight?
Luka. I think Luka because of what Curry's done in this series. In game 3, I had a nice prop. I had Curry on a double-double, and it was 6-1 plus 600 on that. But what they're doing, what Dallas is doing, they're blitzing Curry, and what Curry's done really well in this series, he had 11 assists in game 3, is that he's getting rid of the ball before they can double team him. Actually, before he picks up the dribble and double teams, they're blitzing him while he's dribbling, and even when he drives, they're trying to bracket him, and he's dished the ball out. Curry's going to get his points. I think he's a 30 guy tonight, but a lot of the possessions or when the ball's in his hand, he could score. He's involving his teammates. So it happens to be my best bet tonight. Is Curry over 5.5 assists. A little juicy, but over 5.5 assists for Curry tonight. I'll talk about it more during that segment.
So maybe dishing a little bit more. So one vote for Luka. Mr. Vino, you get your say as well. Steph, Luka, who's scoring more tonight?
It's a good question, Dan, because you brought it up early. Should there be less of Luka and more other guys scoring and less than 40 points? If Luka approaches the game that way, I'm going to facilitate rather than score. You could see Curry, but I think the opportunities come to Luka more because the free throw line could be the great equalizer. Luka just gets to the foul line more than Steph does. And if all other things are equal, where field goal attempts and those types of things are concerned, then the free throws would be a difference maker. So I would have to say Luka probably, but there's no definitive answer there because I don't know what his mindset is going to be coming out here. After last game, he said, I'm 23, I'm still learning. Does that learning mean we have to pass to our teammates more in an elimination game? I'm not sure about that. But I would think I would have to go with Luka if I had to make the bet.
All right, Ski, you get the last word on this one. Our poll question of the day, Steph versus Luka. Who is dropping more in tonight? Ski, last word, Mr. $2 Tuesday.
I would have to say Luka. I just think he's, even though majority of his elimination games have not been 0-3, he's shown up in all of them, scoring like close to, I think it was an average of 39 points per game, and they're going to lean heavily on him. As far as my opinion on playing basketball, yeah, I think he should share the ball. It was like times in that game where he comes down the court and misses 7 shots in a row. Granted, he probably got fouled on a couple, but you're taking your teammates out the game. It's a lot more fun. Everybody stays a lot more engaged when you're sharing the ball, like Golden State plays, like Chicago Sky play, if you're familiar with WNBA. So to answer the question, I would have to go with Luka just because it's an elimination game for them and doesn't really matter, kind of in a sense, for the Warriors.
Well, if Joe was here, what he would be saying, all 3 of them are on Luka. Give me Steph. Give me the over. You can hear Joe saying it right now. I might be in his studio, but I'm kind of with you guys. I just think, there's much more to be gained for Luka going off in this game than really Steph Curry, who knows, hey, we can go back to Golden State. We can finish this out on our floor. And there's also been the precedent for that in the playoffs. So, I won't go full contrarian on that one. So that's our thoughts. Drop in the comments. Let us know what you're thinking about this Warriors-Mavs game 4. Are the brooms going to be out? We'll find out this evening. We have best bets coming up, but first, guys, let's just get into this Miami and Celtics series. We'll get into it deeper on the show tomorrow when Joe's back, but it bears mentioning because now we get at least 2 more games. So the Warriors do have to play for at least, hey, maybe a little extra rest. But the total has been the story in this series, in my opinion. Down to 203.5. That under train keeps on chugging. We're seeing Boston as a favorite in this one. And the Celtics win last night by 20. In my opinion, guys, it didn't even feel that close. Now we got this tied series. Tony Finn, Heat are back up to plus 150. There's some better prices out there if you shop around as well. Any value on the Miami side here, or what did we learn about the Celtics last night?
Well, I guess it depends on what your definition of value is. I mean, I suppose if you put Miami at plus 20,000 to win this, to come back and win this, or basically win 2 of the next 3 games, there would be some value in that. But you're not cashing the ticket, so there's no value in that, in my opinion. Value comes, I hear it all the time. Guys, you'd be proud of me. I have the best closing line value, among the group. Well, how many tickets did you cash? Because there's your value. And if you saw Miami last night, listen, I've said it, I've preached it, I've talked about it. Boston's the best team, not only the best team in the East, they're the best team left. And they've had some hiccups. And those hiccups are inexperience, in truth, in my opinion. Tatum, I said it on the show we had, I think, last week when we had Jay Money, that this a star is born. Tatum, he's already a star, but a star is born. If this guy finishes the series off against Miami, does what he did yesterday, and produces and executes and performs, and most importantly, entertains in the finals, you're looking at, I think you're looking at a long run with this Boston team of being much like what Curry and company were 4 or 5 years ago.
I think one of the concerns, too, for Heat fans, for Heat backers, is also, just outside of Bam Adebayo, the major size disadvantage, especially with Robert Williams coming back. 19 minutes, not like a crazy impact, but his presence definitely felt on the floor, 12 points, 9 rebounds. So with him back, with Al Horford turning back the clock, me as a Sixers fan, we didn't get any of this Al Horford when he was in Philadelphia. I don't know where he was hiding, Rob, but, having him and Williams really shining in the paint, how much of an impact does that have, having both of those guys at full strength and what you're getting out of Horford down the stretch here?
Yeah, we talked about it yesterday, Dan. They're just unique. I mean, Milwaukee was a difficult matchup for Boston offensively because, again, they can throw Brook Lopez, who's an absolute monster. They can throw Giannis, and they can throw Bobby Portis Jr. across that paint. And Jason Tatum, for the first 3 games of that series, I think he had a tough time finding anything that would go in the hoop from close range. But Miami's not the same when you have Bam Adebayo, PJ Tucker, and Jimmy Butler. And PJ Tucker's all of 6'7", not a lot of length there. Jimmy Butler's not a really long guy at 6'6", so it's been a little bit easier. Yesterday, today I hear Jason Tatum only 1 for 7 from 3, but he's 7 for 9 from 2. His buckets are coming easier, and he's at the free throw line 16 times. So if you don't have that interior wall to put up against Jason Tatum, you're going to be in a little bit of trouble defensively against him. And to counter that, of course, Boston on the defensive end, like you mentioned, when Robert Williams is in the game, they have the same thing. They take Al Horford in that wingspan. They take Robert Williams in that wingspan. They take Jason Tatum in that wingspan, line them up, and, try to get in there. Try to get something in the paint. It's difficult. You can't be smallish and beat Boston, in my opinion. And Miami's kind of smallish. And to boot, Dan, Miami's banged up. Let's face it. I mean, Kyle Lowry's not playing 100%. Tyler Hero doesn't play yesterday. We had PJ Tucker on the injury report. Jimmy Butler's not really 100%. So they've got injury concerns as well. But I do think Boston is just unique in that size and length that they had. And if you just think back to, what happened with the Sixers. The Sixers just don't have, aside from Joel Embiid, they don't have that type of stretch across the paint length either, because they're small. You got Tobias Harris as your small forward, as your power forward. I think Boston probably in that regard is a difficult matchup for anybody left. We'll see if they get through this against Miami. They did it yesterday defensively without Marcus Smart, who, by the way, is the defensive player of the year, right? So it's a pretty good team that played real well last night. But that series has been crazy with the amount of blowouts that we've seen. One team or the other just absolutely bombards the other side. And we'll see if Game 5 is any different there.
Yeah, leave it to me, Rob. You know, if I was on here, I would work the Sixers in some way. They've been eliminated now for how long, and still I find a way to work them in. Well, speaking of former Sixers who love breaking my heart, Jimmy Butler with the big night, I say facetiously, the old triple single, 6.7 rebounds, 1 assist, just 27 minutes, because the kind of white flag was out for him in full force. You also had no starters for Miami in double figures. Is that as simple as, just not our night? Or was Rob kind of speaking to just the disadvantage that they're kind of at in the size department?
Yeah, it's a lot of advantages for the Celtics side. And in general, you know, Celtics have been the team that I probably made the most money with so far in this NBA season. I think they've been playing overall the best basketball in 2022. I think they're the better team as long as they're healthy, which, you know, seems like they're healthy enough right now. And I think it's pretty telling that they're a favorite in Game 5, even though Miami just got embarrassed and Miami's at home. So if I got to make a play in this game, you know, I got to roll with the better team. So I haven't really got there yet. I did a lot of work on today's card. I have a lot of bets for today. But just as a look ahead, I will be looking at the Celtics right now.
Well, I know the clients like hearing that, diving in, and we're going to go right back your way because it's time, with the moment everybody's been waiting for, best bets here on the NBA tip-off show. So cue on up the clock. Ski, the floor is yours. You said you were doing work on the card. Let them know the best bet for tonight.
Yeah, best bet. I mean, we only have one NBA game, and I've only made one wager on that card. I'll share a couple of other bets just because I am on the Giants back in Logan Webb at home. I love that bet tonight. And I'm on the Marlins and Rays under 6.5 runs. Best bet for this show, NBA. I'm going to go, and I'm probably, like I said, against Rob Vino because I know he likes points in this game. But I like the under, man. I think it's two really good defensive teams. Who knows? If the Warriors aren't focused, like I don't think they are, offensively, they could lay out a dud in this game. We know Dallas is going to come out playing really good defense, and in elimination games, I just think that tends towards the under. Mavs at home, over 70% unders. In the playoffs so far, their games are averaging about 200.6 points per game. So give me under 215.5 as my best bet for the show.
Consummate professional right before the buzzer there. Again, want to remind you, grab that $2 Tuesday play. 5% dropped by Ski Profit today. You can get it for just $2. Head on over to his page to grab that. Mr. Finn, you kind of let the cat out of the bag a little bit earlier on your best bet, but rehash the people's memory. Let them know what you got up and what your best bet is tonight.
I'm going to go to Golden State. The Golden State at Dallas contest tonight, Game 4. And my best bet is on Curry as points, assists, and rebounds. Over, I think the numbers, I think what I gave you, what I just looked up, was 28.5. I mean, 38.5, if I'm not mistaken. And the points aren't near as important, I think, in this. I think we all know if Curry's going to get his 30. The last two games, I think 30, 31. The first game wasn't quite there. But he had 11 assists last game. And his assists have increased because of what Dallas is trying to do to him defensively, and that is they're trying to blitz him, trap him, make him, give them an opportunity to make a steal or be the defensive team they are. They haven't been able to do that. Curry's done a better job of making adjustments, getting rid of the ball before the blitz comes. And again, like I did last game, I played Curry on a double-double and over the 37.5. I like it again tonight, over 38.5 against Dallas.
Shocker, shocker. Tony Finn using every second of that 1 minute clock right there. Rob Bino, last word for you, my man. Final best bet of the day, and then we'll recap things, get people out of here with a little pep in their step. Rob Bino, best bet time here on the NBA Tip-Off Show.
Yeah, I'll go quick because Robert's a little rough on the trigger over there today. I'll go player prop the same way Tony Finn did, and I'll even go to the same team, but I don't know how you don't play Andrew Wiggins here over 25.5 PRA. Talked earlier about Otto Porter probably being out of this game. He's had, I think it was 16 rebounds in 3 games, and those rebounds have to go to somebody. Andrew Wiggins has been playing 40 minutes a game, and Andrew Wiggins is going over 25.5 PRA in every single game so far this series. He's taken the second most shots in 3 games on the Warriors team. Steph has taken 57 field goal attempts. Andrew Wiggins, 51. He's getting the minutes. He's getting the shots. He's going to get a chance for even extra rebounds. He's done a pretty good job rebounding as is. 25.5 doesn't seem like the bookmaker adjusted very much for the way he's performed in this series. I always get a lot of accolades for defense, but the offense has been there too. So give me Andrew Wiggins over 25.5 PRA.
There you go. Best bet time here from the guys. Do a little recap before we get you out of here. Remind you that Ski Profit on that under going head-to-head with our guy Rob Vino. Tony Finn going on the over 38.5 PRA for Steph Curry, despite thinking that Luka is going to outscore him today. And we got Andrew Wiggins over 25.5 points, rebound, and assists from our guy Rob Vino. Well, guys, thanks for letting me crash the party today. Joe Raineri will be back in his regular seat tomorrow as we preview the Celtics and the Heat game. Huge thanks to everybody tuning in live, watching on the rewatch as well. Hit us with that like, that subscribe button so you never miss a show. For the crew here, Rob Vino, Ski Profit, Tony Finn, and our great producer Robert and Will behind the scenes, I'm Dan Alexander, and we'll talk to you tomorrow on the NBA Tip-Off Show.
Stop. Don't buy that picks package or all access. Wait, what? Yep. Don't click add to cart until you check out our new deals page at both WagerTalk and Sports Memo, where you can find all the latest offers, promotions, and coupons available all in one place. These deals are updated daily and can be found by clicking deals in the nav at WagerTalk or Sports Memo, going to wt.buzz/deals, or scanning the QR code on your screen.